Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a post from a person who is struggling with a toxic boss, and they're wondering if they should just quit or wait it out even though their mental health is suffering because of the job. But they're also dread having a conversation with this toxic boss about everything that's going on. So let's go ahead and hear what they have to say. Long story short, I have an extremely heavy workload, but only get paid minimum wage. I even take work home unpaid because my boss won't let me work overtime. My family is concerned I'm going to put myself in the hospital from stress, and I can't afford to live on my own. After moving back home with my parents, I'm now 40 minutes away from work, and my dad refuses to let me do the driving during winter due to safety. It's going to start snowing here around mid-October, and I'm running out of time. I'm too scared to talk to my boss about anything. He's very intimidating and gets angry with me very easily, and I usually just clam up. My parents have been begging me to ask for a raise or help with my workload for over a year, even if over email or text, and I just can't bring myself to do it. At this point, I just want to outright quit, even though I don't have another job lined up, despite applying to other jobs for over 2 years now. I'm very worried this is going to backfire on me, and he'll talk me into staying longer to help find and train a replacement, which I don't really want to do, and will add even more to my workload. I've been trying to seek mental health help, but wait times are extremely long here, and I didn't have much luck with the last 4 therapists I've spoken with. Any advice someone could throw my way? Thanks for your time. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that you're going through such a stressful job. I mean, a boss can make or break your work experience. There's a saying, people don't leave good jobs, they leave bad bosses. I'd also say bad bosses make bad jobs even worse. And unfortunately, it sounds like you're kind of in the latter situation. My guess is even the thought of having a conversation with your boss causes you anxiety. And you have an emotional and physiological reaction when you play out how the conversation is going to go in your head. And it's not going to be as easy as just sucking it up and talking to him or mustering up the courage, because even if you do and you have a conversation, you're going to be so stressed out during and after that conversation, it's not even going to matter what happens or what's said. What's going to happen is you'll probably go in there and just be so stressed out. You'll say a bunch of things that don't make sense, and he's going to get frustrated, and then you're just going to be even in a worse situation. So, I get when, people tell you, have courage and just do it. There's a little bit more to it than that. So, but the thing is, I don't think you need to quit just yet. Not because I don't think you should leave a toxic environment, but I think you actually have a really good opportunity here, and that's to learn and challenge yourself and improve a skill that inevitably you're going to have to use again someday. Because let's face it, at some point, you're probably going to have another boss that intimidates you, stresses you out, and is toxic. So you have to learn how to deal with a boss that's antagonistic. And this is a perfect opportunity to do that. So there's a couple of things I think you should start with. First, and this is actually something that worked for me. Write out everything you want to say, but couldn't because you clammed up. Or just can't because it'd be inappropriate. So write out everything you want to say and don't hold back. Write out how much he scares you, ticks you off, how much you absolutely hate him, why he drives you insane. Just get it all out. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start, because when you're writing, you start to kind of just think about things a little bit deeper. You start thinking more about the why and the how, and you start bringing in others. You just kind of start digging deeper and deeper, and it starts kind of letting you focus on what's really the problem. And because as emotions sit there and fester, the longer you start to internalize it more and more, and it just eats away at you. And then things that aren't even related seem to affect you as well. So writing things out, though, kind of helps to really kind of collect your thoughts. Next, take some time to think about all the times that you actually had legitimate concerns and how he reacted negatively towards you. So again, as you're writing, out everything that ticks you off, a lot of those things that you're going to start saying, yeah, that actually is legitimate. I actually have a legitimate reason here to be upset about this. You want to document as much as you can think of, how and when it happened, what was said, how it made you feel. And then document all the times you can remember that you brought work home and were working unpaid, which is against the law, by the way. He can't force you to work and not pay you. So again, writing this out is going to help. When you say you clam up, I want you to think about why that is. Is it because you're just thrown off by his reaction, or is it because you're afraid of getting yelled at more? Because if I was sitting there trying to have a normal conversation with somebody, they just flew off the handle, I'd be like, I don't have any idea what's going on. I don't even know what to say. But I've also been in a situation too where somebody just went ballistic, and you're just like, okay, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get screamed at anymore. And when he gets angry, is he verbally berating you, or is he raising his voice, or is it just more in his tone? And the reason this is important is because you need to make sure you're not kind of just telling yourself a story. Sometimes when we get really stressed out dealing with other people, sometimes we play conversations over in our head. We start to overanalyze body language, or if it's a conversation we haven't had yet, we anticipate the reaction the other person is going to have. We even create dialogue that we think they're going to say. Have you ever laid in bed at night, the night before you needed to talk to someone, and you were dreading the conversation because you were thinking about how it was going to go, and, before you knew it, you had almost an entire script written. You had like dialogue, you had different characters. That's telling yourself a story, because at this point it's all fiction. So now obviously past history and the way he's reacted to things in the past is going to play a role in how you think future conversations are going to go. But think about how things can be different this time. It's going to be important to frame this conversation as important to you, and that you need to speak with him regarding your concerns. One thing that a lot of bosses just don't respond well to is when information's kind of just dropped on them. Like, I've never had a boss that reacts well when you knock on the door and say, hey, I got an issue, I need to talk to you about it, and you just go in and kind of just dump on them, because it's just not a good way to handle that. So I'm not saying that's how you've done it in the past, and that's why he reacted because of that. I'm just saying, like, you need to frame this conversation that needs to happen a little bit differently. Another thing is, you need to hold frame. One reason he's probably reacting the way he does is because he kind of knows you're going to back down. You're going to clam up, so he can kind of say and do what he wants and get away with it. Your role is you can't let him get away with it this time. You need to press on. State again, this is an important conversation you need to have, because you have some serious concerns regarding the job itself, and you want to make it work, but you're going to need his help. You need to include him in the solution, at this point. Don't give him an ultimatum, because if you just say, well, I am really upset that I'm not getting paid, and I've had to take work home, and if you don't fix this, I'm going to quit, because that's not going to solve anything. He may just say fine and just send you on your way, which, again, that's not going to help you in terms of how to handle the conversation and work through this issue, but it's also not going to help it's not going to help you kind of like work, have a whole solution for yourself after this. So here's what you need to do. You need to kind of approach him and ask to meet with him in a few days when he's free. Give him some time so it doesn't seem like, again, like you're going to drop this on him out of the blue, because if he's reactionary, like you said, he's not going to handle the impromptu meeting well. But it's also going to give you time to prepare. If he says, let's meet now, say you can't today. Again, make sure you're the one that stays in control. Even if inside your heart's beating, you're getting really nervous, your voice is cracking, you're like stuttering, whatever, just maintain your frame. So it's going to go something like this. Just either you might even want to just shoot him an email. Hey, I was wondering if we could meet next Tuesday. I have some free time about 2:00. I just have some concerns I want to talk to you about. Are you free? If not, when is the time on such and such date or such and such day and time that you're free? And leave it at that. If he responds to you and says we can meet then, and you set up a time, just note once you have the meeting set, you're still going to be nervous. You're still going to be dreading that you need to talk to him, but that's okay. The good thing is you've made it this far. Go back to all that stuff that you wrote down about how he made you feel. Remember, that's why you're meeting with him. You're sick of being treated like that, and you have a right to be respected. Bottom line is, you also need to speak up because, number one, you don't want this to happen to the next person that has this job. And number two, even if you don't care about this job or him at all, you have the opportunity to be a better person by giving him a chance to learn from his mistakes. And number three, again, for yourself, this is a learning opportunity for you. You're doing this because, again, you need to, that's how you build courage, is by going through tough times. So now look at what you wrote down that he did wrong and how it made you feel, and then condense it into a list. Take out what you want to do is you want to take out all the emotion and just leave in the facts. So if you had to take your work home 5 times, that's all you need to keep. If there was a time that he got really mad at you that you just clammed up, write that down. Then script out what you want to say. So I put it like something like this. I wanted to meet with you today because I have some concerns that have been on my mind quite a bit, and I really think we need to address this because honestly, this job is just starting to take a toll on me. And then just wait and give him a chance to process before moving on. And then continue. So I've been working a lot of hours, and it's been a real struggle to get work done. There's been at least 5 times that I can think of that I've had to take work home to get it done. And I wasn't paid for that, that's frustrating to me. And I've also tried to talk to you about these things 3 times, and your reaction, to be honest, makes me not even want to have continue the conversation. So I just clam up. It's really difficult to have a conversation with you when you get really angry. So it's gotten to the point now where I'm not quite sure what to do because I don't want to quit. And again, even if you do, just say you don't want to quit. But I cannot continue to work like this. So I need to know how I can get some help. I feel like with the amount of work I'm putting in, I should probably I feel like I should be compensated more. And if I'm expected to get things done in a certain amount of time, I'm going to need some support or, paid overtime, because the reality is it's just not reasonable to expect me to get this amount of work done in the time that you give me. Again, it's easy for me to say this on the outside looking in, and also because I've gone through conversations, and coached a lot of people through conversations like this hundreds of times. But the reality is if you script it out, you're going to be able to kind of stay more factual, and you're not going to be overly emotional. Like, you're not going to be like, oh my God, I can't take it. This is driving me nuts. That's because that's not going to help. The more energy you bring into it, the more energy you're going to be met with. So if you kind of stay even keeled, the conversation itself should stay even keeled. Now, again, just wait after you've said all that. If he starts getting mad, let him finish, but then call him out on it. Say something like, your response now, right there, is why I feel the way you do. Why I feel the way I do. I'm just coming to you to let you know that I need some support, and your reaction is to get mad. I wanted to make this work, but you don't really seem interested in finding a solution. And then you can decide if you want to just be done and walk out, or you can kind of continue to see what his response is. Because ultimately, again, this is all about you staying in control and learning to have that conversation where you allow yourself to have that power. The thing is, courage isn't going to come just by going in and shooting from the hip in a situation like this. It's going to come with being well prepared. It's also a struggle because you've given a boss power over you that, they really don't have. But, so I had a situation where I had a boss kind of similar to your situation where I dreaded talking to them as well. And another colleague told me, the only power this person has over me is the power that I give them. Truth be told, you actually hold all the power in this situation, because if you think about it, Your boss is having you work minimum wage and not paying you overtime, not willing to compensate you, plus gets really angry really easily and defensive, that actually tells me quite a bit. One, it tells me he actually probably really needs you. And number two, he's extremely insecure. So if you quit, my guess is he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He might play it off like it's not a big deal, but since he hasn't even hired more people, and you've talked to him about it, or, and he should know that he needs more people and he hasn't, that tells me he's not doing as hot as he thinks he is. So again, he probably needs you more than you know. So you have an option then. You can, if you want to stay and ask for more money, you can, and also ask for compensation for the hours you worked, but weren't paid for. You can definitely do that as well. And you can also tell him you're not going to take on any more either. That's all up to you. Or you can just leave it all behind. Remember, you can use what you have to your advantage. Again, all this stuff is going to come out when you start writing this all down, because you're going to start thinking more and more about everything that's kind of happening. So regardless of what you decide to do, the reason, again, I want you to have this conversation before you just quit is because this is actually going to help you with your mental health healing process. Right now, you're letting someone get the best of you, and just walking away isn't going to help. Again, this is how you build up your courage. Again, because you can't just say, well, and again, this is something I hate. I actually really hate when people say things like, oh, just have confidence. Well, you don't gain confidence without experience. So again, when you go through opportunity, when you have situations like this that suck, you gotta think about them as an opportunity. What can I learn in this situation? Even if you walk away, even just having this conversation is going to help you if you have something similar happen again in the future. And the more and more you have these things, and the more you fall flat on your face, or the more experience you have where you can look back and say, oh, I didn't do that well. Oh, I dreaded this conversation. It didn't go well. Why didn't I dread it? Or why did I dread it so much? And when you react well, you also have things to look back on, like, yeah, I handled that really well, and here's why. You're going to start building processes that are going to give you that courage and that confidence. So in a sense, it's going to be like getting some closure. It's going to help you know, how to develop, continue to develop that skill in the future. And then it's not going to be such a dreaded conversation the next time it happens. And as for new jobs, if you do quit and want to get a new job, again, you've said you've been applying for a while. Don't feel like you have to just hop into a new job right away either. Think about what type of job you want. What skills do you have that can make you find a better job? You didn't mention anything about school, so I'm not sure if you have a degree. But if not, have you considered going to a community college or a tech school? Or have you even just talked to a program advisor at a school and just kind of see what options you have? Since you're coming out of such a toxic environment, think about what type of environment you want to be in. What type of boss would make you really successful? What type of working environment would make you feel like you're really valued? Because those are things you're going to want to look at when you get a new job. And don't feel too bad either that you've been looking for a while and nothing's happened, because right now it's just a tough job market, with this, sickness thing going on. So yeah, unfortunately, you'll probably just have to keep being patient. But again, take it and use it to your advantage. Use the time to do some reflection and research on what you really want and where you want to be in the next few years. And then taking some time to, do some reading and, finding the right therapist that really is going to work for you, and medications and stuff like that to really get your mental health back to where it needs to be. And then start planning out how to get there. But anyways, I hope this helps. I've gone through situations like this, and I've coached a lot of people through situations like this, and there's not a one-size-fits-all option, because everybody reacts to things differently. Everybody's emotions are going to be different, and it's never easy, especially when it's something that you're absolutely terrified of doing. But like I said, I think the big thing I want you to get out of this is anything that's going wrong that you feel is wrong now, and even though you dread it, it's an opportunity. And I think looking at it like an opportunity is going to kind of help you kind of shake off the dread. And feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to chat more. I can definitely help you kind of craft a strategy. Maybe help you bullet out some things, work on that, agenda or script that when you have that conversation. I'm definitely willing to do that. But anyways, yeah, I just want to say good luck. And if you like this video, please subscribe, give me a like. Also, you may want to check out, I did another video on how to have a conversation with someone more powerful than you. Because that is going to have some information on there on how else you can approach this situation. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, good luck, and I will speak with you all soon.